Hey guys, what is going on? I do hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here, and welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So, we're gonna do part 2 of my top 10 best fragrance houses in my collection. As I did in the first video, I featured 5 fragrance houses, and in this one I'm gonna feature another 5. I will tell you guys every fragrance that I own from that house, but I'm only gonna feature 2 per house. If you have not seen part 1, it was only 2 or 3 videos ago, so just go back in my video history, but I will also link it down below as well as pin it to the top of the video. I think I'm pointing to the right side for it. And if you have the medium that allows you to actually click on it. But yeah, we're just gonna do part 2 today. Got 5 houses, so let's go ahead and get it started. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so the first house we're going to feature in this video is going to be the house of Nishane. This is a wonderful fragrance house based out of Turkey. I've currently got 6 from the house. There are plenty that I would love to add, but right now I've only got 6. And those 6 are going to be Hacivat, Ani, Papilefiko, Fan Your Flames, Wulong Cha, and Sultan Vetiver. So we're going to start it off with this, probably the most popular one from the house, and that's going to be Hacivat. Nishane's Hacivat. Now this is definitely going to be, I just have to say, based on the number of wears I've given it, my favorite from the house. But listen, it can vary based on the day. Sometimes it's this, sometimes I think it's Fan Your Flames. It kind of jumps back and forth between those two in terms of the house and Nishane, in terms of if I just had to pick one as my favorite. But I cannot deny the usage out of this one. It's about halfway full right now. So this is going to be a very bright and brisk bergamot and pineapple fragrance, blending mostly with cedarwood and oak moss. It has a very dried characteristic to it to kind of counter the juiciness of the bergamot and the pineapple of this fragrance. And then you've got a really nice creamy jasmine kind of holding the two together. It kind of acts as a binder in this fragrance. It's a summertime staple in my opinion. Granted, you could use it whenever you want to, but I think this one just shines in that summertime heat. I know many don't really like that oak moss note that this has, so if you don't like the oak moss note, I'm gonna say it again, try Hacivat X. It kind of turned that part of it down. But as for me, I'm a big fan of oak moss, so that one makes this one an easy choice for me between those two. Once again, from the house of Nishane, this is Hacivat. All right, the next one we're gonna feature from the house of Nishane is gonna be this one here, Papilefiko. Nishane Papilefiko. And look, shout out to Justin Copeland for talking about this so much. That is ultimately what led me to try this one out. This was a blind buy for me. It's one of my most successful blind buys because this fragrance is stunning. So this is going to be a balsamic, spicy fragrance, kind of all wrapped around a pretty strong note of lavender, kind of the, not really the herbaceous kind of lavender, more of the spicy feeling lavender, if that makes sense. A lot of cardamom in this, cardamom, coriander, spice kind of feel, a lemony citrus, and just this kind of balsamic resinous feeling. You might think dried woods. I don't really get dried woods. It's more of just balsamic dried resins, if that makes sense. A little bit of a smokiness kind of hiding in there too. I think there's stearax in there. I believe that can sometimes be smoky. I haven't smelled it by itself, but anytime I've seen stearax used in a fragrance, or at least listed as a note, it tends to have a little bit of a smokiness to my nose. But this stuff is amazing. Compliment garnering scent, long lasting scent. I guess you could call it unique. It is unique from what I've smelled from the house of Nishane so far, and I think this is a sleeper fragrance for them. This should be more popular than it is, in my opinion. This whole time capsule line, I think that's the line that this fragrance came from, didn't really get a lot of love in the community, but you know what? Maybe it's just delayed, because it seems like a lot of fragrances from the house of Nishane, they kind of get their flowers later on, other than the X line, which is the 10th anniversary of like the Hacivats and the Anis and the Fan Your Flames and the Wulong Chas. Either way, I'm definitely gonna hype it up because this fragrance is amazing. Once again, from the house of Nishane, this is Papilefiko. All right, guys, the next house we're gonna move on to is the house of Roja Parfums. Now, Roja Parfums is an expensive fragrance house, even if you buy them at heavily discounted rates, and I do mean heavily. You know, some of these you can get for roughly 50% off, but even then, you're still gonna pay a pretty penny for them. So I've got 4 of them so far as of shooting this video. Those 4 are gonna be Elysium, Danger, Isola Blu, and Creation E. All of these are the Parfum versions. I know there's Parfum Cologne versions with the exception of Isola Blu, but all the other ones I have are the Parfum iterations. Let's go ahead and start off with this one that shouldn't be a surprise if you've been watching my channel, because I talk about it a lot, and that's gonna be Isola Blu. Roja Parfums Isola Blu. This right here is by far my favorite citrus fragrance. It's not even close right now. In terms of just featuring notes of citrus, I get a little bit of orange, some grapefruit, lemony feel. I don't get too much lime, but you could say there's a lime-like citrus in there. I can't remember if there's black currant in this, but it's kind of blending with like a lavender and thyme combination, so giving a little bit of an aromatic touch, and then hiding in the background. And this is what I like about it. It doesn't feature like dried woods and a little bit of musk and things like that. All that stuff is there, you can pick it up, but it's in the background. The citrus is the star of this fragrance, and it just smells so high quality. And man, I love this stuff. I feel like you can use it for anything. It has a classiness to it, but you can also use it for a vacation and chill with it. So it's a little bit of a variety of attitudes I get from this fragrance, but it just kind of smells like money. And I think that was kind of the intent if you think about the original name of it, which is Oligarch. But you know, they had to change the name, obviously due to current events. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I guess you're just living under a rock. But anyway, amazing stuff from the house of Roja Parfums. So once again, this is Isola Blu. All right, next one from the house of Roja Parfums. This is going to be Danger Parfum. Roja Parfums, Danger Parfum. So this here is actually my first Roja fragrance. My wife got it for me as a Christmas gift a couple of years ago, right when we both were able to kind of first get our nose on a lot of fragrances from the house at the Galleria Mall in Houston. That was a wonderful experience because I just really got to experience some of what the house of Roja Parfums has to offer. I actually was able to get my nose on the Haute Luxe, you know, his like signature scent blend where it's only 25 bottles per hemisphere, East and West hemisphere every year. So pretty exclusive stuff. So that was, you know, that was a special experience. And, you know, just kind of got introduced to what the quality of a Roja fragrance is. And whether or not you say the price is justified for them or not, I mean, it's left up to the person who is buying it. It's not for me to say, or it's not for me to convince you that the price is worth it. But I think for most of them, the price is worth it, but it is good we can't get them discounted. So what is this one in particular? This is lemon and lavender mixing with a overall spicy and woody accord. And I say that because it's a blend of them. You just get an overall spiciness to this. For me, I can't really pick out any spice in particular. I would say it's just a blend of them, and it's the same with the woodiness in this fragrance. There's definitely dried woods in here. I would say there's certainly cedar wood kind of notes, but it's not just that. You just get this blend of spices and woods mixing with what I can pick out is a lemony accord and lavender, and the stuff smells amazing. There's a little bit of sweetness kind of blending with it, and maybe a touch of a little bit of leatheriness kind of hiding in the background there, but that's overall what I get from the scent. Classy stuff here, kind of a fougere-like attitude, but not fully going in that direction. You can easily dress this one up. I wouldn't really call this a casual scent. Maybe the Parfum Cologne version allows you to kind of dress this one down a little bit more. So that's kind of why it doesn't have a whole lot of sprays gone from the bottle, because this scent I like to kind of put with a certain category of uses, if you will. But man, the stuff smells absolutely amazing. It's powerful. You don't need a lot of sprays with this one, and I think this is just one of the fragrances that really kind of shows you what the quality of a Roja Parfums fragrance is. So once again, from the house of Roja Parfums, this is Danger Parfum. All right, let's move on to the next house, and that's going to be the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Maison Francis Kurkdjian, if you know the house, you know they do fresh and clean fragrances very, very well, but they also have some cooler weather, richer, deeper fragrances that are amazing as well. Francis Kurkdjian is a master perfumer. I do think his forte is going to be those fresher scents, but he can definitely put out a powerful ambery or oud and rose fragrance as well. So I've currently got 7 from the house. Those 7 are Aqua Celestia Cologne Forte, Aqua Celestia Forte, Amyris Homme Extrait, Oud Satin Mood Extrait, Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait, Aqua Media Cologne Forte, and Grand Soir. So for this video, we're gonna feature 2 of them like I've been doing, and the first one's gonna be Amyris Homme Extrait. Maison Francis Kurkdjian Amyris Homme Extrait. I still feel like this fragrance just doesn't get a lot of love, and that's part of the reason I'm featuring this one. I easily could have went for the Aqua Celestia or even the newer Aqua Media. Really, I could have picked any of these. I mean, just to be honest. Maybe other than Aqua Celestia Cologne Forte. I do think that one's nice, but I would place that at the bottom out of all of these. But man, this is an amazing, spicy, fresh, and sweet fragrance. Featuring a note of amyris, think balsamic, slightly fruity, but woody and a little bit earthy overall. A lot of cinnamon in this. It is, you could say it's kind of ambery overall, but also quite a bit of tonka bean, lending to that freshness. Lending to that sweetness. A little bit of tonka bean vanilla blend and freshness. Think like mandarin. Kind of mixing with the Ceylon cinnamon. It's Ceylon cinnamon, which I think has a brighter characteristic overall. And yeah, this is just great stuff here. Amazing, powerful scent for the summertime if that's something that you want, but I think you can use this for pretty much anything. This is easily one of my favorites from the house. It's the only fragrance I've gotten my nose on from the house that made me literally do a happy dance. I've told that story before, and I'm not gonna go into it again, but yeah, this is great stuff here. This is one of those ones that really made me realize that this house is special, and it wasn't something that I had heard about from somebody else. Oud Satin Mood, you're gonna hear about from somebody else if you're not able to kind of just go and get your nose on the scents on your own. This is one that I had not heard about and was special just by my own accord. So once again, from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, this is Amyris Homme Extrait. All right, and the next one coming from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian is gonna be Grand Soir. Maison Francis Kurkdjian Grand Soir. Listen, this is another one you're gonna hear about. When you hear people talking about the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, if it's not a freshie, they're gonna mention this one for sure. And listen, this is a great ambery fragrance with a slight hint of spice, a lot of sweetness, very vanillic, ambery scent in nature, with a little bit of a resinous feel, a little bit of smokiness to it as well. Great stuff. And listen, this may not be the best amber fragrance on the market, but it is pound for pound one of the easiest to wear amber fragrances on the market, in my opinion, in terms of making the amber the focal point of the fragrance. There's plenty of ambery fragrances out there, but they have a lot of other things going on to kind of aid with the amberiness, where this one, I think the amberiness takes the front seat next to some vanilla, because once the fragrance dries down, for me, it's pretty much just solely vanilla after that. But what a wonderful wearing experience this is. Compliment garnering scent, easy to rock in cooler weather. And you know what? This works in warmer weather as well. You don't want to overspray it, but if you want to blend this with something to kind of counter the richness of this fragrance, this is a good one in warmer weather as well. Once again, from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, this is Grand Soir. All right, guys, let's move on to the next house, and that is going to be Chanel. Chanel, in my opinion, is similar to Dior and Hermes. They're a house that does not compromise on what they offer to the fragrance world, and they have a particular DNA in all of their fragrances that kind of ties them together, and it helps kind of identify their fragrances in the greater overall market. I've got 4 fragrances as of me shooting this video from the house of Chanel, but particularly in the exclusive line, and a few that are not. There's plenty that I really need to add, but as you know, it can be pretty difficult to get Chanel fragrances discounted, so I kind of have to like set my mind to it if I want to add more Chanels. But anyway, I've got 4 to this point, so those 4 are going to be Bleu de Chanel, Parfum, Allure Homme Sport Eau Extrême, and Le Lion de Chanel. So for this video, we're gonna do definitely my favorite from the house first, and that's gonna be Le Lion de Chanel. Chanel, Le Lion de Chanel, this is part of their exclusive line, or whatever the actual line is called, and this one was an easy first choice. I had a few on the list in terms of the first exclusive Chanel fragrance I wanted to get until this came out. It was going to be, Coromandel or Sycamore first, but then this came out and kind of overtook those. This is very ambery in nature. It's their heaviest fragrance if you kind of consider how they present their fragrances from like light to dark or lighter, fresher to heavier. This is considered to be their heaviest one to date. And it also features a pretty strong note of labdanum, kind of focuses on the labdanum, mixing with the amberiness of this scent. There's a really nice base of sandalwood and patchouli in this fragrance, and a little bit of lemoniness on the top just to give it a little bit of brightness, a little bit of a brighter characteristic mixing with those notes. And man, I love this stuff. Some people say this is animalic. Maybe some people just get like a little bit of a sweatiness from this fragrance. I can understand that. Me personally, I don't really get that, and it doesn't bother me at all. But I love this stuff. This is one fragrance though, me personally, I definitely kind of reserve for the cooler months. I don't really want this as a scent in the warmer months. So I'm looking forward to it cooling back down before I bring this one back out. But this is amazing stuff here. And again, many from this line I would love to add, but you know, you got to drop some dollars to get these fragrances unless you're going to look for them, being sold on some of the marketplace groups on Facebook or something like that. So once again, from the house of Chanel, this is Le Lion de Chanel. All right, and the next one we're going to feature from the house of Chanel is going to be Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. I had to include this one on the list because I still think pound for pound, this is one of the best designer fragrances ever created. Particularly if you're considering wearability, it's kind of the biggest thing. Wearability and something that any man can use for any and everything, and it smells amazing as well as just great quality scent. It's a little expensive for the affordable designer range, as I like to place it, anything under 200 bucks. It is approaching that 200 bucks to be fair, but I just think this stuff is awesome. If you know the Bleu de Chanel DNA, this is going to be the woodiest variety of it. Really that focus on that signature Chanel sandalwood and cedarwood combination. And I say signature because I feel like you can pick that up in not just the other Bleu de Chanel fragrances, but some of their other fragrances overall, including the exclusive fragrances. This one still has the aromatics and the citruses of Bleu de Chanel overall, but like I said before, it's just the woodiest variety of it, and it's my favorite as a result. The most balanced one is going to be the Eau de Parfum for most people, but if you want something that's a little bit heavier, a little bit more mature version of the DNA, this is the one to go for. So once again, from the house of Chanel, this is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. All right, guys, the final house we're going to feature from my top 10 best houses in my collection is going to be the house of Creed. Now, please don't come at me if you feel some kind of way about Creed, because the thing about Creed, and listen, I've only got 3 of them right now, but there's plenty I really need to add. I think I'm going to dedicate some time later this year to just picking up some of the Creed fragrances I want. But listen, one thing I think you just have to be honest with, if you go to a Creed counter and just smell the fragrances, they don't skimp on quality. You can say they're overpriced. That is fair. That is a fair argument, but they do not skimp on the quality of their scents. I don't want to hear stuff about performance. Look, not every fragrance is going to perform like a monster, nor should every fragrance perform like a monster. But if you just smell the scent and just think of the quality, the makeup of the scent, the work put into it, I don't think you can argue that, they put out low quality stuff. Their stuff is top tier. You don't have to be a fan of them, but they put out top tier stuff. That's the main reason I decided to go ahead and put them on this list. And honestly, I want to go ahead and add this year most of the Creed fragrances I've kind of been holding out on, just because, even discounted, they're expensive. But yeah, anyway, the 3 fragrances I've got from Creed right now are going to be Green Irish Tweed, Aventus, and Silver Mountain Water. There are plenty I want to add, including Royal Oud, including Millésime Imperial. You know what? I need to get is it Original Vetiver? I need to get that one. That stuff is nice. And Spice and Wood is a good one. Look, there's Viking. I need to retry Viking Cologne. A buddy of mine told me to try that one again. I never tried it on skin. He said, don't sleep on it. Try it again. So I'm going to try it again. Aventus Cologne is also a really good one. That might be a little redundant given what else I have in my collection. Anyway, let's move on to the fragrances featured. And the first one's going to be Aventus. Creed Aventus. Look, how could I not feature this one? I mean, the influence this fragrance has had on the overall business is a staple amongst itself. And I still love this in DNA. I still think it smells amazing. I get great wearability out of this. I get great usability out of this. Performance is not an issue with me with this current batch, so I can't speak to that if anybody's having problems. This batch is, oh crap, it's not there. Where's the batch? You know what? I'm not gonna waste a bunch of time looking for it. But anyway, this is one of the newer ones. But yeah, this stuff is amazing. I mean, you cannot deny that juicy pineapple and bergamot mixing with these smoky woods, the birch wood-like characteristic with it, and the slight amberiness that the fragrance has, ambergris in here. I mean, this stuff just, you know, it was a massive influence on the fragrance business and the community at large. Are they still dropping clones for this fragrance? I mean, at some point you gotta just be like, all right, there's enough clones of Aventus. But as far as I know, people are still dropping clones of this scent, and there's still inspired Aventus fragrances coming out, especially if it's a new house. It almost seems like they feel like they have to do their version of an Aventus fragrance. You know what? I'm not mad at them because it is spawning some awesome stuff. But yeah, you have to keep this fragrance on here in this list because it's still amazing. People are sick of it, sure. People think it's overpriced. I don't even disagree with you. I think it is too, but it's still an amazing fragrance. So once again, from the House of Creed, this is Aventus. And the other one we're gonna feature from the House of Creed is going to be Silver Mountain Water. Creed Silver Mountain Water. Now, I know this one is not a favorite of everyone because of what is perceived to be the inky smell. If I had to guess what's kind of maybe giving off that inky smell, I think it's a combination of the galbanum and the ozonic notes in here. Galbanum can give off like a really bitter green smell, and then ozonic notes, you know, are ozonic notes. They're just super fresh, almost cooling air kind of notes. And then there's also quite a lot of black currant in here. I think all of that just might be combining to give some people that sensation, and I can understand it. Doesn't bother me here. I'm not gonna deny that it doesn't kind of have that element. I just don't mind it, and I love the smell of this. And then overwhelmingly, you just got this kind of cooling air, green, almost alpine kind of feel, you know, like skiing down a resort mountain kind of feel. And then with that, what a wonderful musk this fragrance has on the dry down. That's what really just sets this one over the top for me. I get great longevity out of this because of that musk, because I swear it just does not want to leave my skin when I wear this stuff. But man, I love this. Another one of those fragrances that really paints the picture of the quality of a Creed fragrance and just how they don't cut corners with it. At least in my opinion, they don't. You can disagree. And you know, the price tag, I understand. I don't disagree in terms of full retail, and unfortunately that drives the price up at discounters too, but it is what it is. But I do think this is an amazing fragrance house that just puts out some top quality stuff. So once again, from the House of Creed, this is Silver Mountain Water. Alright guys, that is gonna do it for this video. That was my second half of 5 more of my top 10 fragrance houses. Again, check out part 1 if you haven't seen it already. And let me know down in the comments below, again, just what are some of your favorite fragrance houses in your collection, and tell me why. Would love to see what you guys have to say. And also, if you want me to actually rank like all 10 houses, or maybe just do a top 5 of my favorite 10 fragrant houses, let me know down in the comments below. I will put that together for you if you guys would like. So thanks again for watching all the way into the end. Really do appreciate you guys. Please remember to be well and smell well, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.